Everybody, happy Thursday and welcome back to Middle of the Res Road. It is Morgan here today and I am by myself doing my first solo podcast episode, but I am lucky enough to sit here with two of Fond du Lac Reservation's doulas. I have Megan and Val here with me today. Say hi.
Hi. Hi.
Cool. All right, well, let's start off. Every episode we do a trivia question, so let's get into it. Are you guys ready for the trivia question?
Sure.
Okay. Legend has it basketball player Michael Jordan was breastfed until he was how old? I have options. A, 6 years old. B, 3 years old. C, 6 months old. Or D, Gatorade. I mean, he's a freaking athlete.
I don't know. I'm going to say 6. 6 years.
6 years old?
I feel like I've heard that before. Yeah, 6 years.
Okay. All right. Well, no one can find out until the end of the episode, so.
Oh, we're all waiting. Like, what is it?
All right. In every episode, we go over some events, so I'll quickly run over those. We have traditional lacrosse, August 18th, right across in the field of Holy Family Church on Reservation Road. Have you guys been able to attend that yet?
No.
No. Have you guys ever played lacrosse?
No.
Yes, I have.
Is it fun?
Yes, it hurts.
Does
But
it?
it's fun in a good way. I mean, there's a lot of running. Sometimes your fingers will get smashed up by the sticks, but
Ooh,
it's fun.
I want to try it.
And I know like traditional lacrosse is a little different, but it's tons of fun.
Well, cool. And then we also have a back-to-school barbecue and backpack event, August 20th at Veterans Park in Cloquet. There's also an Innovate 218 networking event, calling all entrepreneurs. That is August 24th at Streetcar in Carlton. And then to continue with the Powwow Highway, we have Mille Lacs Traditional Powwow, August 19th, 20th, and 21st, as well as Shakopee's Metawakiton Powwow, August 19th, 20th, and 21st. So quite a lot of events coming up this weekend. Do you guys have any plans?
This weekend? No.
No? Well, you're lame.
Sorry.
Val?
I think I'll be going north for ceremonies this weekend. So,
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So before we get into learning more about you guys as doulas and all that, we're going to do a this or that game. Okay? All right. So we'll start. Lunch with friends or solo date?
Lunch with friends.
lunch with friends.
Lunch with friends for me too. Bake cookies or do a craft?
Do a craft.
Can I do both?
Yeah, you can.
I would.
I would bake cookies. Lose your phone or lose your wallet?
Ooh. A phone.
I'd have to say phone too.
Yeah, phone.
Have no house or no car?
No car.
No car.
Same. Be a mind reader or be invisible?
Be invisible.
I feel like I'm already an overthinker, so I'd probably be invisible too.
Same. Unlimited free clothes or unlimited free food?
Unlimited free food.
I was going to say, what kind of question is that?
Duh.
Free food.
I'd have to go with clothes. That's just me. Live in the city or country?
Country.
Country.
Same. Okay. This is like our mom edition. Step on Legos or step in pee?
Step in pee.
I'd rather step in pee too.
Legos hurt.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I'd have to rather step on a Lego. Okay. Clean their room or clean the bathroom?
I'd rather clean the room.
Probably the bathroom.
Oh, I'd have to clean their room. Shower in peace or shop in peace?
Shop in peace.
Shower in peace.
I'd have to go with shop in peace. Clean up poop or clean up puke?
Ooh.
I think I'd rather clean up poop.
Same.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, same.
Sleep in or take a nap?
Sleep in.
Sleep in.
Me too. All right. Introvert or extrovert?
I would say extrovert.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think I'm an introvert.
Same. Rain or sunshine?
Sunshine.
I like the rain.
Sunshine. Night out or night in?
Night out.
Night in.
Me too. Calls or texts?
Ooh, the older I'm getting, I feel like calls.
Same.
Texting annoys me now.
I'll look at a notification and forget about it 1 minute
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
I think it depends. I don't know. I'd prefer texts.
Always late or always early?
Like in the middle.
It's a surprise.
Depends on what we're doing.
I feel like before I had a kid, I was like always early. And now that I have a
Yes.
kid, I'm like constantly late for everything.
Guilty too. Oh, okay. Ponytail or bun?
Bun.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a bun.
I feel like I want to get a good bun, but my buns always look terrible, so I always go with a ponytail. Long nails or short nails?
Short.
I love long nails, but doing the work we do,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta have short nails.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Leggings or jeans?
I'm more of a jeans person, I think, these days.
I think it depends on the season.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leggings and like I like leggings in like the summer, hotter months, jeans in the winter, colder
Yeah.
months.
I've definitely swapped. I used to be jeans 24/7, but now I'm leggings. All right. Well, that wraps up our this or that. Are you guys ready to get to know the doulas, everybody? All right. So, I want to know more about you guys. Whoever wants to go first can start. Just your name, where you grew up, and where you're from, where you went to school, your family, if you have kids or not. Just whatever it is.
You can go first.
Okay. So my name is Megan Waite. I grew up on the Fond du Lac Reservation in the Cloquet area. I have a family. I have an 8-year-old daughter. She is mine, and I have a 14-year-old nephew whom I've just recently took custody of, and then we have one foster boy.
Oh.
Yeah. I went to school in Carleton, graduated from Carleton in 2011. Recently just graduated college with my Bachelor's of Science. And I work for the Fond du Lac Human Services in the Quality Assurance Department. I am the evaluator auditor and also contracted as a doula.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I'm Val. Oh my goodness, I grew up in a lot of different places, I guess you can say. Like, my mom moved us from Fond du Lac here when I was like 3 months old out to the West Coast. So I grew up in like Oregon, Washington, British Columbia. I lived on Vancouver
gosh.
Island, Manitoba. So I did a lot of moving. And my dad would always come back and forth and see us. And my parents are like, I don't know how you would define it, traditional, but we'd go to ceremonies a lot of the time. So I'd always see a lot of family, travel a lot in the summer. And I think when I was like 14 or 15, I came back to Fond du Lac to be with my grandma because she was like my only living grandparent, and she's from Fond du Lac. And I just wanted to be close to her and get to know her more and have her in my life because I like realized, I don't have any other grandparents. Just want to get to know her and plus know my family around Fond du Lac. And I went to high school. Oh, God, where did I go? Fond du Lac for a little bit, and Cloquet, kind of bounced around. I was a troublemaker in high school, so that's kind of why I bounced around in between here and there, and went through some rough stuff for a while, and just recently, I think within the last, I'm 6 years sober, and my son is 5 years old, so it's kind of like one of the reasons that got me together, got my life together. I started going back to school, and right now I am pursuing, I'm kind of on the fence with two things, ethnobotany, which is like plant medicine, and being able to say, hey, I know these plants, I can prescribe them, and also wildlife biology. So, and then doing doula work with Fond du Lac. That's kind of came into my life when I had my son. And also I do a lot of work with like the, I don't know what you call it, Environmental Institute at the college. So I do like a lot of field work, like water sampling for the mercury levels in wild rice lakes, and helping with like invasive species specialists and stuff like that. So, yeah. I don't know what
Cool.
to say.
So you're in college and you just graduated college.
Yes.
So now, what are your plans now that you graduated? Do you see a job change somewhere soon or no?
I mean, I've looked. I haven't found anything that I really, really want to. I mean, there is stuff I do really want to do, but unfortunately, it's not in our area, and it would have resulted in me having to move.
So what kind of job is the outcome of your degree? Or what kind of jobs?
I want to do like forensic stuff. That was like my first goal was like probation.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to do probation anymore. And so I kind of liked the forensic part of like school. Like when we would get into like about like forensic stuff, it really interests me. But we don't have a lot of it in this area. So
okay.
now I just don't know like what's happening. But
Well, cool.
just kind of waiting.
Well, good job for graduating.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Well, cool. So what were you guys' dream jobs like growing up? Where did you guys see yourself?
I don't really know. I feel like I never had like a dream like in high school. Like I feel like everyone knew what they were doing and I just never did. And then after like I had my daughter, then I was like, oh, I should probably go to school and like get a degree, and like everyone needs a degree at some point for some higher job. And then I kind of started falling in love with like law enforcement and like criminal justice stuff. And like I don't know why. Like I don't have anyone in my family who is like law enforcement or anything like that. So, just like as I was going to school for criminal justice, I just started getting like more and more into it. And then just like in our community, I see myself like helping the community in that kind of way. So I just thought it would be beneficial for those reasons.
Well, cool. That's exciting.
That's funny that you say that. Like that brought me back to like, you get that question in like elementary school, like, what's your dream job? I got in trouble for saying what I wanted to do. I was like, everybody's like, I want to be a ballerina, a firefighter. And I was like, I want to be an international arms dealer. And my like teacher was like, do you know what that is? I was like, yeah, I would sell guns and stuff all over the world. Yeah, they call my parents. But no, growing up, like after a while, like kind of that was out, obviously. And but like seeing what my parents did, doing ceremonies and stuff, and just kind of like being somebody that could help people was like my thing. Like, and still I kind of had that like, I don't know what I want to do. Everybody's in high school like, I'm going for this once I get out, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Now it's like I kind of have this idea of something that I want to do, but it's still, I feel like it's always changing, So, yeah.
Sure.
Definitely. So what brought becoming a doula into fruition for you guys?
I never knew what a doula was. So I had my daughter 8 years ago, and I remember someone like mentioning it like when I was like going to like my OB appointments, and I was like, and like the way they explained it was just like I thought it was more beneficial for maybe like moms who didn't have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I thought, and I was like, no, like I don't want to take that experience from Scott. So I was like, we don't need like another person there. And then after I had my daughter, I started working for the Center of American Indians, the care building in Duluth. And I met Nacy, and she was one of our old doulas. And she, we just got to know each other. And I was like, oh, what do you do here? And she's like, oh, I'm a doula. And I was like, what is a doula? Like, I don't really know. And then she explained it, and she was like, we're a support person for women who are going to have babies or have babies after they have babies. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool, because I just had my daughter, and I witnessed my first birth when I was 15, and I remember being like, this is so cool. Like,
oh my gosh.
This is crazy. And then I've, finally gave birth. And then, so after she explained it a little bit better, I was like, man, like, that's what they do? Like, I guess I could have used that. Like, everyone could use some support. So then I had reached out to the program like right then and there, and my daughter was just so young though, so they were just like, you just had her, like maybe wait till she's a little older because it can be pretty demanding and you have to like sometimes leave in the middle of the night and like stuff like that. So then I kind of forgot about it, and then when she was like 3, somebody was like, hey, are you still interested in the doula program? And like they're looking to possibly hire, and I was at Minneowan at this time. And so I had reached out to the program again, and they were like, yeah, we're doing like meet and greets. And then I got the times mixed up or the building mixed up, and I went to the wrong place, and I missed the meet and greet. And I was like, maybe it's just not meant to happen. And they actually contacted me, and they were like, we still want to meet you, like if you want to. And I was like, yeah. So then I went and had a private interview with, her name was Alice, and she was our supervisor at the time. And yeah, and then she just offered it to me and just took off from there. Yeah.
So do you remember what year that was?
I started in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, February of 2018 was when we did our first training. So that was like when we were like officially like doulas.
4 years ago now? Wow.
Yeah, I think we're, going into like our 5th year, I think. Yeah.
Did we train together?
Yeah, we did training.
At the forestry?
At the forestry, yeah.
Because I feel like we went to a different one, too. I don't know. There's been so many trainings.
I know. They've kind of been all over, but our initial one was, it was like 4 or 5 days long.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, at forestry. Yeah. Yeah, because we were hired at the same time.
18. Was it?
Yeah, it was the winter of 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always forget. I just remember doing it.
Yeah, because I know it's been almost 5 years, so.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I took a year off when COVID hit.
Yeah. I was going to ask, did COVID affect your duties as a doula?
I mean, I guess I don't really know, did it?
I think so. Well, because like you were kind of already going through a lot, right?
Yeah.
I think for a while.
Yeah.
And you took some time off because I remember right before COVID happened, we were getting lots of referrals. We were seeing lots of clients, doing a lot of support stuff like with, like we were trying to drop off meals and stuff after for moms and the family. We were doing like a lot of check-ins. But when COVID happened, it was just like we couldn't have contact with anybody. We stopped getting clients. It was the whole thing too, like with home births, a lot of moms wanted to switch to that, and we were kind of like, we're not trained in that. We're not, and so it was just like a really bumpy area, a gray area, and it was like really hard to navigate and be supportive because it was like we couldn't see anybody in person, and it's a different vibe when you're trying to text or like talk on the phone.
For sure.
You don't have that connection with somebody, so it was a lot harder to even establish a relationship with a client, like if we got one during COVID. So it definitely did change things a lot.
COVID was hard. So I had 2 babies during COVID. And like the first one was like right at the heat of it in 2020. And it was lonely going to appointments by yourself and ultrasounds by yourself. Couldn't have like my parents or my other kid come see us in the hospital. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's a scary time for sure.
Yeah. But we kind of skipped ahead. But Val, how did you become into the doula world?
Oh, okay. Let's see. My cousin actually was kind of part of the program, Rebecca Nolnap, and she kept bugging me, like always sending me messages and texts. And at first I was like, I just had a baby. I think he was like 6 months old. And I had like struggled with breastfeeding, like everything that could go wrong, like went wrong. And I was like, I'm going to do this though. Like I'm determined. And I would reach out to her and some other people like, hey, do you know who I can talk to? And then also like our lactation consultant at Fond du Lac, and made it through all that. And she kept on like, I think you'd be really good. You advocated really well for yourself and you reached out. And she's like, I could see how you might be really good for the program. And I kind of was like, I'm not sure. I'm not really looking for a job. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a mom. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what am I doing? Like, am I even doing this right? Like, but I filled out the paperwork. I remember we sat at Dunn Brothers, and I was just like filling out the paperwork, thinking in my mind, like, I'll try it and I'm probably just going to quit. Like, after I do the training, I think I'm just going to quit. I did the training and I like loved it. I loved everything. I loved it. And, But it was a little like intimidating, right? Because it's like something that I've never done, and being like, am I? And now I gotta show other moms or like help them through this process. Like I just hope that I can do it, and I've been doing it ever since.
And now a message from our sponsor, Polymet Mining. Did you know that northern Minnesota has the world's largest untapped deposit of copper, nickel, and other precious metals? And that these raw materials are the building blocks of modern life, used in everything from life-saving medical devices to cell phones, computers, solar farms, and electric cars. Polymet Mining plans to supply American industry with these essential metals from a mine and processing facility near Hoyt Lakes. It's a project that will create hundreds of family-sustaining jobs in both its construction and operation phases, all while meeting every single strict federal and state environmental standard. Learn more about this vital work at polymetmining.com.
So how did your first birth go? Like your first experience being a doula?
Like as a doula?
Yeah.
I remember just like being really nervous because I was like, moms are just kind of going through it, and it's like, you want to like do all the things that you've learned, and you're like, hey, I can like help you, but at the same time they're like, don't touch me, like get away from me. And so then you also just feel like you're being annoying. And so like I remember like there was like our first ones were obviously like shadowed with other doulas, which was amazing because I would have been terrified just in there all by myself. So like it was nice to have like that support from the other doulas being like, okay, now like let's try this with mom and stuff. And it was like nice, but it was intimidating. Like it just, you're in someone's like very, very, very personal space, and there's just a lot going on, especially in hospitals. There's doctors and nurses in and out, and it's not totally home to mom. And so you can already tell they're like uncomfortable, and then we come in and we're, I was a total stranger at that time to this mom, and so she was, I just feel like we didn't have like that full on connection.
Yeah.
But then eventually we did. Like we were there for hours, and it like got better. But it's intimidating every time. Like it's just, you just want to make sure you're like doing the right thing and not being too needy or like anything like that.
I know.
Yeah, definitely. I would say I know with the shadowing that was like intimidating, right? And it was like the person that you shadowed, like whether it was Tammy or Nacy, they got to know the client, and we were just somebody that was there. So it was really hard to be like, should I touch her? Like, should I help do anything? Because it's like I don't know what she wants exactly. We're just there. Yeah. So that was like the harder part to like, how do I navigate this space? How do I be helpful? Like, how do I, do anything in this space?
Yeah.
And I don't really know too much about the person. But I really did appreciate being able to shadow, because it's like you could ask all the questions, like, how do I do this? What if this comes up? And having that experienced doula being able to guide you through and be like, this is, when this happens, take some time, go out, step out. And I appreciated that. I think I remember I shadowed for like maybe 3 extra births just because I didn't want to go out and have my own clients. And then plus that's like even scary in itself to be like, hey, by the way, you're my first client. Like, thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, you don't want to say that to somebody, but it's like being able to say like, hey, I shadowed 6 births. Like, if you want somebody else to come in, like, I don't mind doing that, because I agree. Like, if that's what you want, I'm fine with that. So it was difficult, I would say, and scary and intimidating, easing into that, like being able to be kind of on your own. But in the same way, it's like we aren't on our own, because we can always, like, that was one of the main things, was like when you're at a birth by yourself, reach out to your doula sisters. Like, if you have questions, reach out. We have like a doula phone that if we can't get a hold of somebody else on the team, we can always call the phone and be like, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think? Like, do you have any ideas? Anything I can try? Like, anything I can say? And so that was like amazing to have that like extra line of like communication to be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody else kind of knows. What do you think? So
cool.
And to continue to have that is pretty awesome.
Awesome. And for everyone who doesn't know, Megan was in the room when my oldest was born. Not as a doula, but just as a friend.
That was my second birth.
Yeah, that was a good one. I remember you too, like asking me, like, "Do you want me to do anything? Do you want me to like rub your back?" I probably was like, "No." I don't know. I didn't want to be touched.
A lot of people don't when they're in that kind of pain, which
Yeah.
is definitely understandable.
So how many births would you guys say you've been a part of? Do you guys keep a count?
Like with my doula experience and like a friend and a family member, I think I've been to 9.
Okay.
Like 9 or 10, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I'm somewhere between 13 and 19.
Holy.
I lost count after 13. I just kind of like, because I have a little logbook for my own like personal, like this is, I'll write notes just to remember like this is what I did, this is what I tried. And I think at 13 I stopped counting.
So what kind of things do you guys do with mom up until birth, and do you guys like keep in touch after birth?
Yeah, so we do like I always try to keep like during the pregnancy, like try not to like bother them too much. So I always tell them like 3 initial visits is like what I like to do during pregnancy. Like we have our first initial visit and we sign like our contracts and our like release forms and stuff, and then, you know, get to know each other. And then usually meet them again and we do like a birth plan like as they're further along. And then the 3rd visit is usually like right before they have baby, and I usually like offer a belly cast, and a lot of moms just say like no, like you're just like I don't really know what to do with it after and stuff, which is understandable. So then I'm like, oh, do you want to just meet and like get coffee and go over your birth plan one more time? Just make sure like it's exactly where you want it. And so I try to do that during the pregnancy, and then after delivery, we do postpartum 6 weeks if they choose not to breastfeed. And then if they choose to breastfeed, they get to have us for a year if they still want us.
Nice.
Yeah. So then usually I just check in with mom. Like I'll try to do it like pretty often right after birth, just because I know like brand new babies can be a lot, and I just want to see like, you know, do you need anything around the house done? Like, can I bring you anything? And then usually like I try to check in like monthly as the baby gets like older. And then usually like the moms are like, yeah, come over. Or sometimes they're just like, we're good. So I just do like a little check in.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say that too. Like, well, I know a lot of that stuff was pretty normal with before COVID, but afterwards it's still kind of iffy. Like, can we come over, and do you need like laundry folded? Do you want me to put something in the laundry? Do you want me to help with dishes? Because that's what we used to do, and then like after COVID, it was just like we don't know. It's always changing. Like, it's okay for in-person visits this week. No, so it's still kind of a little weird trying to navigate like when we can visit afterwards. But I think I'd be pretty I think I'm annoying after birth because I'm like, do you need anything? Like I'll try to text. I try to do a lot of texting just because I know like it's hard to answer the phone. So I'm like, hey,
definitely.
and then sometimes they may not get back to me for like a couple days, and which is understandable. But I'm like, hey, you know, we have this, and this. If you're still breastfeeding, like I can hook you up with some information, or like, do you need help with a pump? Like, I know we were doing meals for a while, and I think again with COVID, that kind of, it's like we don't know. So I know for a while what I was doing was just like I would have like a little purse at my house and just kind of fill it with like snacks and like chocolates and like a baby wash, and just be like, hey, I brought you a little gift, like, because it's so hard to like be able to see how you're doing, and I hope this is something to kind of show like I'm still thinking of you, you know. And that's still been like iffy again, because it's just hopefully soon it's gonna be pretty normal again, where we can like come in and see moms and be like, how is it going, like, you know, do you need help with nursing? And so
I just feel like COVID in general is just like, it makes you so much more anxious too, because it's like they have these brand new babies, and like if you get like one little sniffle, and like you're just like, geez, like I don't want to, you know, what if it is COVID? I don't want to expose this little baby.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm a lot more anxious now, just because I'm just like scared. I don't want to like get anyone sick. Not that I'm like always sick or something, but I'm just like, it just gets like really nerve wracking. Like you don't want to get someone's baby sick or mom sick, or anyone else in the household. So
yeah, that's nerve wracking.
yeah, it's definitely a lot
sensitive,
different. It's a way different world right now. So
Well, did you guys know August was the National Breastfeeding Awareness Month?
I did.
Okay, so yeah, that's why it worked out perfectly for you guys to do this interview in honor of that for this month. But do you guys have any like words for, you know, what would you guys say to like a mom who's like on the fence about it or might need an extra like just a thought or something, because I know it's hard. I mean, I breastfed all 3 of my kids for over a year. Thank God I was like blessed with that and didn't struggle with it, but I know a lot of people do.
Go ahead.
You know, breastfeeding is always like, it's so different for me because I feel like my journey was cut super short, and I feel like the support wasn't like fully there.
Oh,
So it's always like different for me when it comes to support because I just try to give like as much resources, but I feel like I don't fully know what I'm doing.
God, I'm sorry to bring this up.
That's okay.
Jeez.
No, it's my own experience, so. But just resources. Like I always reach out to like, you know, Naomi Defoe is amazing when it comes to breastfeeding. So like if I ever have like questions from my mom, so I'm just like, hey, like this is what's happening. But I just feel like for me, like my experiences were so different. So I never know what to say sometimes. And like we go to trainings and we learn things and that's awesome. But I get like a little like sad because I'm like, oh, I don't fully know like what you're going through because I didn't get to do it for as long as I wanted. And and so sometimes I feel bad about that, but
well, sad.
I still definitely give my resources and I'm still 100% like about breastfeeding, and I'll do anything I can to like make sure a mom stays successful at it if she wants to continue to. So
Oh,
Yeah, I agree.
I love that.
I'm sorry.
I know, gosh.
It's always been like a barrier for me. I don't know. It's a tough subject.
Yeah. No, I hear
Well,
you.
I gave you props for being open about it.
Thank you.
I'd say definitely like the support is the big thing. Having people that you know that have done it, that have like tips and tricks. I was fortunate that all the women in my family breastfed, so they were really like, that's all you're doing. Like you're nursing, you better not do formula. And so that was kind of like intimidating too. So it's like
Right, yeah.
when I try to support a mom, that's the one thing I would say, like, hey, you know what? Fed is the best. Like whether you can nurse or not, you know, do what you can, and if it's not working out, don't like stress yourself out over it and feel so bad, because it's hard, right? Like if you can't do it, because there have been times where like my supply has gone so low and I cried because I'm like, I can't feed my baby anymore. Like, what am I gonna do? And having the support and people to reach out and be like, what do I do? I'm struggling, and just being like, hearing that, like, hey, that's okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to have a low supply. It's okay to have cracked nipples. It's okay to get plugs. It's okay. It's like, and just hearing that it's okay, like, I think was a really big thing for myself. And like I said, I feel like the first month I had everything that could go wrong with like nursing, and I was still like, I'm just gonna do it. I have the support system, and there's something else I can't remember. I can't think of it. Was I can't think of it. Okay. But it was just that support was like a really big thing, and I feel like having it very normalized in the areas that I was going to, like being able to. I think another thing is like, oh, I don't want to pull my breast out and nurse my baby right here because I don't know what the world is gonna act like to me nursing my baby, and so when I visit moms, I always try to like encourage them and build up like their confidence before they have a baby. Like, hey, you know, if you nurse, like, you know, these are some of the issues in the world today. And just remember, like, they don't have to be your issues, you know. Do what you want. And if your baby's fed and your baby's happy, that's the most important thing.
Definitely.
And so, like, that's what I always try to remind moms, like, when nursing, like, hey, don't, you know, sometimes you may run into those scary encounters with people and they may say something that hurts, but like, remember that little baby. Look at that little baby's face that you're feeding, you know, and do what you can and remember that it is okay. Like,
Definitely.
So, yeah.
I love it. That's why this like episode was so like near and like special to me, is because I breastfed for so long, and like bringing awareness, and it's just close to my heart, especially with you, Megan. Just like it was a heartfelt episode that I feel good and honored to sit by you guys and hear your story.
How long did you nurse again?
Like 13 or 14 months. And so I had my third baby, my baby girl, and I was just finished breastfeeding my oldest. Well, he's only one, he's almost 2. So I breastfed, and then I was still breastfeeding when I got pregnant. So I was like, I'm not going to breastfeed. So I was sick of it at that point. Like I was just like
Just
I need a break.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing it anyway. It was meant for me.
Yeah.
But that now that you brought up, like, you know, moms are kind of shamed for it, but I've seen you guys bring a lot of awareness on it, and especially at the powwows doing the breastfeeding tents. Can you guys share a little bit how that came, and like what do you guys do when you go to community events like that?
Yeah, so I don't know when the tent started. It definitely started before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure whose idea it was, but I just remember like one day they were like, we're going to start doing a breastfeeding tent, and I was like, that's actually really cool, because there is a lot of moms who don't just like whipping their breasts out anywhere, and the world is very strange and weird, and it's, you know, it's not always comfortable. And then there's the moms who don't care, and heck yeah, do you.
Power
But
to them,
yeah. So yeah, we kind of set up at the events. Like we just had the breastfeeding dinner on Tuesday, and we had the tent there, and it's just like a normal tent, and we usually like try to provide like water and snacks for mom and the kiddos. Some chairs, and then there's usually like some fans in there, and they can just kind of come chill and be like in their own like space and do their
so
thing.
nice.
Yeah, and change baby if they need to, and we try to go to the powwows. And then we've had the tent at the breastfeeding dinner. Where else have we had that tent?
The baby fair.
Yeah.
I think the past COVID we haven't,
Yeah.
but we used to have it there.
Pretty much I feel like any event that
Like
we're like asked to go to, it's
Yeah.
usually like up
Okay.
at some point for someone. Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone were to want more information on how to, you know, connect with you guys or more about your doula program, where would they go? Or who would they call?
So they can contact Community Health, which that's like where our program is out of, the department at Fond du Lac Human Services. You know, our department we see like Indigenous mothers, and then mothers who are pregnant or having kids with Indigenous people. They have to be like in our service area kind of thing.
Okay.
But any like resources that they need or something like that, they can always reach out to Community Health. And, you know, if they didn't qualify for our services, we definitely have resources for like other areas. You know, there's other doula programs in the area that help serve our moms. So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming down and sharing about yourselves personally and your doula program and what you guys do.
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's surface back to our trivia question. It was, legend has it that basketball player Michael Jordan was breastfed until he was 6 years old, 3 years old, 6 months old, or Gatorade. So you guys both answered 6 years old, right? Okay. Drum roll. It's 3 years old.
I swear I like heard that before, and it was 6 years old. I don't know.
And it was quoted, like the article I read, it was quoted that like Michael Jordan's mother was like, that's why he's an athlete. Of course.
Oh, goodness.
Well, all right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode with Megan and Val. And this is Morgan saying goodbye.